Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I am just going to flat out implore you all to see Avengers Endgame if you have not already. And if you have, see it as many times as you can in theaters. So, why am I making this video? Not just because I'm a Marvel fan, obviously. I touched on this in my reviews of Avengers Endgame, but I really want to emphasize this point. Over the weekend, it was announced by Box Office Mojo and the other trades that Avengers Endgame has broken basically every record known to man in terms of opening weekend, not adjusted for inflation. So it has made, it is the first ever movie to make $1.2 billion in its opening weekend. That is like 4 to 5 days worldwide. That's more money than Captain Marvel made, and it's pretty much done with its run now. That's more money than most movies make. Avengers Endgame made more money just on Thursday than with the Thursday night previews. Not even like a full day of playing, just like a few showings at night, made more money than most movies do. It has been immensely successful, and the reason I'm stressing that you guys go see this movie as many times as possible and jump on this MCU bandwagon, if you are one of those people who is refusing to do it. I know that a lot of my subscribers are big fans of the MCU, and I love that. But I really, really want to emphasize how much of a cultural moment this is. Back in 2009, when Avatar came out, which is currently, not adjusted for inflation, the highest domestic and worldwide grossing film of all time. And it's immensely successful, large part of the fact that it has to do with the fact that they literally invented the CGI for that movie. Like, it is... it was completely uncharted territory, huge technological advancement, and everyone was like, you need to go see this movie. There was escapism and immersive aspects to it that people just had to see. This is, with Endgame, is different. Obviously, it has been 21 films in the making. This is the 22nd film in the MCU. Each of these movies, building up along the way, has played a hand in what Endgame is today. If you see all of them, you'll probably understand all of the references. If you miss even one of them, something as little as a character calling another character by a certain thing, like small things, are referenced and pulled from all of the 21 films that have led up to Avengers Endgame. And obviously, it's ideal if you see the previous 21 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie will be a lot more enjoyable and will hit you a lot harder as a fan and as a viewer than it would if you had not seen those movies. But regardless, I strongly encourage you guys to go see this movie in theaters. It has the potential to make $3 billion, which is... that's just crazy. But really, what this boils down to is that this is historic. Like, this is Star Wars level, and I mean original trilogy level of historic. This is something that will go down in the history books, not just because of the records it breaks, but because of the impact that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has had on not just the industry, but society as a whole, and not just in the United States, but everywhere. Avengers Infinity War, we said it did that, and it did, trust me, it did. The snap became, like, being dusted, like, all of that became a huge thing, a meme. It was, like, part of culture to know what these movies are about and to know these characters. And now it is that on steroids. It is absolutely ridiculous how successful this movie has been. There are showtimes almost every half hour in most theaters, and all of them have been sold out. I went to 2 different showings. I went to one in the middle of the day on Saturday, and I went to one, literally the opening showing on Thursday. Both of them were packed theaters. The only person I know who went to a showing that wasn't crowded was someone who went early on Friday morning, and not even like early, like it was the first showing on Friday morning, because I'm sure some people went to that one because they went before work, but it was like in the middle of the workday school day on Friday. And That's the only report I've heard in all of social media, all of my friends at college, of anyone having a less than packed theater. This is absolutely absurd. This is not the type of movie that you can walk up and get your ticket on the spot unless it's like 3 weeks from now. This movie represents a piece of history, cinematic history to be specific, that I think if you're just a film geek in particular, like, this is something you want to be a part of. And I know that a lot of people shun the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just blockbusters in general. If there's one thing I've learned from being at film school, it's that people love it or they despise it. A lot of my professors despise it. So obviously a lot of them don't, but some of the more traditional ones do, and it's kind of painful to listen to them lecture about how much they hate it. I'll be watching Black Panther in class today. We are literally studying the impact of the MCU in my film history course. This is absolutely just mind-boggling how much this franchise, this universe, has shaped culture. And this seeing, I honestly feel bad for you if you did not get the chance to see this movie opening weekend. It was very hard to get tickets to do so, but it was an experience like none other. Obviously, I had a very different experience seeing this than I did Infinity War. I always said that seeing Infinity War was my best movie-going experience ever. I'm still trying to figure out where Endgame ranked on that, because it kind of was the best movie-going experience ever until I like made myself sick because I was crying so hard. But regardless, this is something that you want to see in a packed theater, because it's not just a movie, it's an experience. And this is something that's new to Hollywood, but also not that new. The film industry has always been striving to bring in new audiences, because the golden age of film, where it was the new thing, the thing that that everyone wanted to see before television. So obviously, like, Gone with the Wind and a lot of the movies throughout history that, adjusted for inflation, are like ridiculous in terms of box office numbers. Those were before television, and so there wasn't competition, like in-home competition. If you wanted to see something as magical as a movie, and it was considered magical, you went out and it was an event. Like, you went out with your family. It's like going to an amusement park, and you went and you enjoyed it, and it was like a thing. And now there's social media and YouTube and streaming services and cable and all of this vying for your attention everywhere you go. And so it's completely different now, but still Endgame has a chance to get somewhat close to some of the numbers within the top 10 that a lot of those original movies have made. When 3D came along, that was another way of combating the television era and just like the death of Hollywood. There's like 1,000 deaths of Hollywood. Like when Hollywood died, that happened like 700 times. But regardless, they keep introducing new things to bring in audiences, because obviously theaters need people to come in, and seeing a movie on the big screen with the surround sound, it's not like seeing it on your laptop or on your TV at home. It's just a completely different experience, and so they need to keep making it better and better to drive people in. And 3D worked temporarily at first. They brought it back, and it didn't last this time either. They've brought back IMAX. IMAX has been doing well. Now they have Dolby. Dolby's been doing well. And I think that Marvel, and obviously Star Wars has done it. Some other movies have done it, like A Quiet Place, or movies that you're told you need to see in theaters. Don't spoil the Endgame. Thanos demands your silence. Stuff like this. They are making it an experience. This is beyond just watching a movie. It is supposed to be an experience. You go to one of these movies on opening night, the same thing happens with Star Wars, but with Marvel, it's like nothing I've ever witnessed before. People are screaming and crying and cheering and laughing, and I literally lost my voice at the end of seeing Endgame, and I know for a fact that I was not the loudest one in that theater, because I felt bad that I was sitting next to a stranger, and I wanted to keep myself somewhat tame, and I was not doing a good job of it. But regardless, it is beyond what seeing a movie is normally considered to be. And I think that this is something people should all get to experience. I know that some people don't like when others talk during the movie, but that's why you go more than once. Or you can just, I don't know, like watch it again. If you really hate it that much, see it in theaters on a less crowded showtime. Maybe wait a few weeks. But regardless, this is the type of movie that is designed to cater to something beyond just taking in content, like sitting back and absorbing it. This is immersive, it is fun, it is entertaining, it's engaging, it's thrilling, and on top of that, it's incredibly well done. I've said it 1,000 times, I'm majoring in screenwriting at college. I did the work, I broke down, and I do this with almost every movie I see because I want to make sure, like I want to practice, first of all, for my own benefit. As I sit back and I break down the 3-act structure of the film, I look at the plot points, the inciting incident, the midpoint, the low point, and I make sure it's a well-crafted film. And when I went through Endgame, these are the things I saw. I saw all of these things. I saw the obstacles. I saw the ups and downs of the story. And though it's slightly different and slightly altered because they're dealing with so many characters, and because, of course, it has been building up to this point, the film is still a solid film as it is. And though you might be a little bit confused or very confused depending on your knowledge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you won't be nearly confused as you were probably in Infinity War, but you must see Infinity War before you see Endgame. Like, you'll be so confused if you don't. But again, regardless, this movie, I think it caters to all ages, all people. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is thankfully finally working towards getting more diversity in there. They're bringing in the female crowds, they're bringing in African American crowds, and soon, hopefully, they will be getting in more Latinx, and just I know that they're starting to tease some more Asian characters. It's just stuff like that. They're really, really pushing to make this as much of a worldwide event, but it already is. That's the thing. Like it's made $1.2 billion in its first weekend. It's just absurd, and I honestly can't even fathom it. And so I just really want to make this video to emphasize to you guys how important it is that you witness and take part in an event like this. And maybe you'll thank me for it later, maybe you'll hate me if you feel like you wasted your money on the movie, but regardless, you were part of it, and that's something that you can't go back in time and be a part of if you decide to watch these movies down the line and decide you like them. It's just incredible what these movies have accomplished, and I love them so much, and they mean so much to me. If you watch my non-spoiler review of Endgame, you will see how emotional it made me, and they helped me through so much, and they helped so many people through so much. This is people's form of escapism, and this is their way to let go and like enjoy something outside of their normal realm of life. Like, these movies explore good versus evil and morality and what it means to be a hero and connections and relationships and friendships and growing as a person or having your morality stripped away from you. They deal with mental health, they deal with like disaster and like how that affects people, and they go into so much, and people tend to not be able to see that because all they see on the surface is the CGI and the fictional characters and the money and the fact that it's a tentpole blockbuster, because when the second people see that, they tend to overlook the movie, and I don't think that's fair. And as a film student, and I know a lot of other film students could disagree with me, but I don't think it's fair to overlook a movie just because of how much money it makes or because of the fact that it has CGI in it. It's like judging a book by its cover. If you don't give the movie a chance, then you're not allowed to judge it. And I think people should really give these movies a chance. And it's okay if they don't like them. I did not like them at first. I didn't get into these movies until 2016, and now I'm like the biggest fan, and it's insane, and I read the comics and I'm all about it. But I wasn't always like this. I used to just like Spider-Man and that was it. And then I gave them a chance because my friend was saying that they really liked it, and I knew that they were reintroducing Spider-Man, and I was like, well, I have to make sure they don't butcher Spider-Man. So I forced myself to watch Civil War, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then I watched all of the MCU, and obviously not everyone's going to have the same reaction that I did, and it's not for everyone. But I do think everyone should give it a chance because this is a cultural moment. This is history. It's historic. It is something that we will probably never see again. And I say that lightly. I mean, everyone thinks that we're never going to see it again, like with Star Wars, with Avatar, stuff like that. And obviously, we do see it again. We see enormously successful movies and franchises again and again and again throughout history. But what I mean is with Marvel and with what this franchise, this universe has been, it is unlike anything that ever has been and ever like that will be ever again, because other studios may mimic what Marvel has done. Marvel may continue to mimic what it has been doing. It could just continue doing and building and building and building and then having another mega movie. But this is the start of it. This is the first era, the first 3 phases. This is the end of the era that has changed the industry, and it is just breathtaking. And I really, really, really want everyone to have that experience of just awe, because I love having that experience, and I just want as many people to have that experience as possible because it brings me so much joy, and it clearly brings my subscribers a lot of joy too, because I talk about it and they watch my videos. So I want you guys to enjoy it too. So please go see Endgame as many times as possible, contribute to the box office, have a good time, give it a chance, have a good time, and just enjoy yourself. Like, they're fun, it's amazing, enjoy yourself. And subscribe if you want to see my coverage from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And yeah, have a good day, everyone. Bye.